Okay. I'm here with Kathleen Mitchell from the All Access Pass group. And this month, everybody's getting a special session. So I'm excited. And Miss Kathleen, what are we going to work on today?
Well, I am excited too. I have a new audience and I am looking forward to getting some ideas on how to help them, get to them, all that good stuff.
Tell me about this new audience. What are you looking to do? Serve.
Okay. I'm looking for Christian women who have been abandoned by their spouse and they're feeling lost and betrayed. And I will share biblical resources so that they'll feel supported by God and can readjust and rebuild their lives.
Okay. Do I have permission to coach you?
Yes, please.
What is the outcome with this audience? What are you hoping to have happen? Is it just that you're doing something to help people, or is there a business aspect to this?
When I share with them the two main things that got me through the situation is Jesus and essential oils.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm not being a jerk. Can we agree? You know me well enough to know I'm not being a jerk. I think you do. Do you trust me?
Yes.
I understand that you went through that period. But if we're looking, are we looking to sell essential oils?
I would like to offer them where they can buy the oils that helped me get through this in a good manner.
How soon do you actually want to make profit and make sales soon, or are you hoping to do that a long time from now?
I would really like to start making sales soon.
So if a person has been abandoned by their spouse and they're feeling really down, potentially left high and dry financially, etc., is this person going to be the best prospect for your business?
I understand about the financial situation because that was part of my deal also. I guess what I'm thinking is that they will be able to buy a bottle of joy oil that will help them and things will start rolling on down the line.
Okay, so let me say a little bit more. And again, I'm not being a jerk because your ministry clearly sounds like these women are your ministry and this is who you want to serve. And I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that you should not serve this population, especially having gone through that yourself. But for business success, I would say that they are probably not the audience that's going to get you there. And perhaps, and we can go with what you want, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but perhaps you might want to think of a different audience to sell to and have this be your audience for your personal ministry. And eventually, these gals, you certainly can recommend your essential oils, but if you're selling one bottle at a time to people that are in emotional distress, they're certainly not going to be ready to work the business for a while with any. And by the way, just to be clear, could you find someone that's a spitfire that's decided, honey, you're not breaking me, and they go to work? You can, okay? I'm not saying you can't. But in general, if we're selecting an audience that's in emotional distress and potentially financial distress, we're probably setting ourselves up for challenge. Now, knowing that, if you still want to move forward, we can 100% talk about that, because I feel your heart. And I have a lot of people that I help in a lot of ways. I just don't see them as the people for my business. I see them as people, like I help young mothers who want to be home with their children all the time. I don't see them as my business audience. I see them as other people like I was. So with having explained that, what are you thinking? How do you feel with that information? Because we've literally just seen the person is probably emotionally not ready to do a lot, and the person is probably financially not ready to do a lot. If I was opening a store, I probably wouldn't open a store in a neighborhood where the people couldn't pay for my services and didn't see my services being used. I probably wouldn't open a store.
Right. And I do appreciate your pointing those things out. So I guess with that being said, I wouldn't know where to go from here.
Okay. And please feel me. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm trying to save you time and energy, because I think that you really can help those women, but we need to make sure you have some income so that you're sustained, right? If you're not fed, you can't feed the people. My teacher used to teach me this all the time. He used to say, you can't save the whales if you can't afford the fish. Now, you can't run your boat, you can't go the whale. So I can't save the women or help the women or support the women if I, in fact, am not making revenue, unless you don't need revenue. And that's cool too, because then I can teach you how to market a ministry or market when I say ministry, I mean our personal ministry. I'm not talking about like a church ministry.
Right. I understand.
Like I think that when I go out and I speak, I try to add a lot of governing philosophies and some spiritual concepts and like be a good news merchant while I'm teaching people about marketing, because a lot of it is just greed based, and I feel very strongly about that. So that's my place. That's what I do to fulfill that role in my life. So I'm actually getting emotional because I feel so bad to say this to you, but at the same time, I know we could spend an hour working on this, but I know you won't make money. And
okay,
if your goal is to make money, let's look at the audience a little differently, because we can package it, or I'm not going to say it on the stream, but you know what this picture means, Kathleen. Okay, you know what that picture means. So perhaps we need to find women with different languaging that perhaps went through that, but instead of bringing that thing, like I'm not going to go out and look for somebody that is specifically still dwelling in the womb, but I might move myself a little further down to somebody partially recovered and ready to step out. Like when I went through my divorce, I had to recover. I mean, I was walked out on, and it was terrible. I wasn't ready to do anything for a little while. And then I finally started to go, okay, so perhaps we move a little further down the timeline, these ladies, and we change the positioning or the languaging. But to go to the people that are new and freshly wounded would probably not. Does that make sense? And by the
yes.
way, in our relationship and in our group, I always tell you guys, challenge me if you think that that's not true, because I want you to work it out in your head.
Well, one of the groups that I had joined was about Christian women, or I'm not sure if it was Christian or not, but women who were recovering.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like they were brand new, but no, I am open to whatever you want to say.
So I know you want to bring your Christian values to this. I know you want to share your faith, which is very cool. And I know you want to share your oils. And of course, you want to tell your story, as you should, because that's going to attract people to you. What market that's close to those ladies, but not close to the wound, might be the right market? For example, let's say I want to help people who have had cancer. If I go to the person that just got diagnosed, is just losing their hair, and is just starting chemo, that person is not going to be probably the best candidate right now. It doesn't mean they won't ever be. It just means right now. But if I go to cancer survivors that want to live their way, because they've stared death in the face and they refuse to go back to living the other way, that person is a little bit more empowered. See the difference? Newly diagnosed, going through all of this, trying to cope with all of it, they're not going to build a business. Person who has stared death in the face and now refuses to go back into the matrix, that person is looking for ways to work from home. That person is looking for faith-filled messages. That person is looking for ways to live their life to the fullest because they know the value of life. Most of us don't. I had a near death, I shouldn't say near death experience, but I had a very bad illness experience last year. So I know the value of a breath. Most people don't because we haven't had that scare. So how do we take that and we move over a little bit to the point where the women are now ready to step out? From your own experience, when was the time that you were ready to step up or step out or start doing things? What was going on in your mind at that time period?
Well, my experience apparently was not typical.
Okay.
And until I heard my husband, my restoration husband, tell my story a couple of weeks ago, I did not realize the different perspective that I had about it as opposed to how the world would perceive it. I I don't know, my brain may have been totally sheltered, but I didn't see myself as being homeless or without finances or all the stuff that a lot of the typical women who are abandoned go through. And I guess my thought was that I wanted to help women with Bible verses and oils because that's what I used. As far as answering your question about when I wanted to step out.
But let me back up for a minute because I want to ask you a question. You said you didn't perceive that you were financially in trouble or homeless. Why? Why didn't you perceive
Well,
that?
okay. My sister gave me a bedroom, and so she provided the living expenses. I cleaned my mother's house and she gave me money. So I never thought of, and then plus I had the assurance in my own heart that I had not done anything as far as I knew. So if I was having to go through this experience, there must be a reason for it. And 3 weeks ago, it dawned on me, well, maybe this was the reason for it because now I can talk to others about it.
And I like where you're going. So we're going to meet in the middle, okay? Because I'm over here going, there ain't no money in that, okay? As a businesswoman, you're over here going, I'm called to do this, right? So you're here, I'm here, and we're going to come closer and closer and closer and find the happy medium. Because I feel you, and if I can feel you, that's a good thing, okay? So your teaching and stuff were you like a stay-at-home person when you were married in that first marriage, or were you working?
Well, for 30 years, I was a teacher, but for a few years prior to him leaving, I had given up my life and gone on the road with him so he could pursue his dream. And we traveled around the Midwest bringing high-speed internet to rural America. And then he got a job in New York and couldn't have a helper. So that's when I stayed with my sister. And then, like 3 months later, my daughter told me, Dad's done with the marriage.
Oh, so he didn't even tell you. Okay, let's not get into that. Sit here and do that all
Yeah.
day. So, you had a professional life. You left to support your spouse, and then all of a sudden now you didn't have your job anymore and you didn't have your husband anymore. And you're kind of like stuck. Luckily, you have the support of family and your faith, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to keep the message, but not the market. What do I mean by that? I think your content and your capture pages, if you build them, etc., and so on, should be all about when you're standing all alone, you're never alone. Here's how I made through being abandoned by a spouse, having no income, no this, no that, right? That's a very interesting story. People will want to hear it, and it'll give you a chance to express your faith, how you got through, etc. It will also give you a chance to talk about alternative income options, things that you discovered during this journey. But I think that more than just those women will be interested in the story because it's a story of triumph. It's a hero's journey. So you can still reach the women that need to hear the story, and you can still sell one bottle at a time to that woman that can barely afford the bottle, right? But you're still reaching other people that are more likely to be able to afford it and or more in a position to pick up with the business now, while these women are developing and sitting inside of your environments where you're encouraging them, giving them fellowship and helping build them up, because it's going to take them some time to get to the place where they're like ready to roar. Where these people over here, inspired by your story, whether they went through it or not, they think Kathleen's amazing. I want to work with her or I want to use her product. These people are financing, keeping this alive. Well, these people over here are developed, the people that need your help. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I agree with that.
Now what we're doing is we're keeping the message, but changing the market that we expect the revenue to come from. Instead of expecting the revenue to come from people that are not, and this is, by the way, this is a very common thing with a lot of marketers, is they really want to help people. Like somebody like you, yellow personality, I really want to help people. God driven, I really want to help people. The only problem is that the people that we want to help are not necessarily equipped right now. You're doing the equipping. Understand? You're doing the equipping. So they're not equipped right now to financially sew back into what you're doing. So you kind of set yourself up, because I see people a lot of times, I want to help abused women, or I want to help people who are just diagnosed with something, or I want to help. And those are the people that are the least likely to be financially or business-wise able to go. So we're going to focus on this is who, for example, Kim Word, you know Kim. Kim does a lot of charity work and different things for suicide awareness. A person who's suicidal is least likely to be able to do the business, okay? And maybe an essential oil might help them, but if they're that bad, I'm not mocking, by the way, I'm not making light of this. This is her mission. And she talks about her mission in her business, and people are attracted to her because, one, she's a knowledgeable marketer, and two, she has mission. She has this path that she's on, and so she's helping the people that are suicidal or families that are dealing with that, etc. But she's deriving revenue from those that are inspired by her story and by her work. That's the full umbrella. Because otherwise we set ourselves up and then we're frustrated and we're going, nothing's happening. You could be talking straight into them and giving them the most incredible messaging, but if they're not in good shape personally or they're not in good shape financially, it doesn't matter how much they love you. They can't create a business that's going
to. Okay.
So
let's talk about
them. Good. Okay. So when we're marketing, I'm just rolling around in my head how I want to position. Okay. Remind me when you taught science, what did you teach?
Biology, human anatomy.
Science, okay. I'm just rolling it around. It takes me a second sometimes. I'm like tick, 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 ticking and going. Okay, so obviously people who are Christian are going to hear you best. People who are perhaps Southern or more rural are going to hear you best, or you know what I mean, the different areas of the country. People who are family based, because you went through this and your family helped you. A lot of people don't have a family like that. So people that are family based, so faith based, family based, etc. I was going to say, I don't think education level in this case really matters, because this can happen to anybody, any woman, anywhere, anytime. And essential oils can help everybody, regardless of education level. And in fact, the truth is that probably the more stressed the person is, the more responsible a job they have, the more stressed they are, etc. Aside from personal distress. I'm thinking, because I'm trying to be respectful and package it properly. How did you feel when you found out your marriage was over? Don't go too deep, but just give me an adjective.
Surprised. Surprised. I didn't know. I mean, we didn't fuss or anything. And which is, as I've been reading about this, is pretty typical. There's no displeasure or unhappiness shown. It's just abruptly, a note's left on the counter or whatever.
Abandonment is different than divorce. It's a different animal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, if we'd been fussing and fighting for years, that would be different.
How many years were you married?
38.
Waiting. I just wrote down, after 38 years of marriage, I got a call and found out in a minute it's over. You can offer an ebook or some type of report or a video series about what got you through. So what's going to happen is the people that you would attract to this type of giveaway would be somebody who's been wounded, but not necessarily somebody who's wounded in this moment. As opposed to somebody who it just happened. I mean, you will get some of those people, but you're going to get people that are like, whoa, they want to hear the rest of the story. So it could be recovery is possible. Let me show you the 3 things I did to start my life over. Something like that. And I know it has nothing to do with essential oils, but it will have everything to do with essential oils, because one of the three things, or the however many things we want to add, is essential oils. And it's going to give you the opportunity to show people these essential oils. And inside of that piece, whether it's video, whether it's written, or however you like to do it, and I'll give you some guidance on that in a minute, you're expressing your faith. You're expressing that you started over with business, with a portable business, and you're talking about product as well. So now you have the three prongs, because you're able to share faith in God. You're able to share in scripture, or whatever it is that you like to share. You're able to share that it is possible to find an alternative way to make an income. And you're able to share that natural products. And notice I'm not excreting toxic chemicals today with my candle. Right? You impacted me. Maybe think about
that.
You know what? I'm moving soon, and all I'm doing is I'm like using up everything I have in my house. So I probably have a lot of toxic things, but I'm moving soon, so I can start fresh. So you can now.
I can see.
So now I will say, though, that I was diffusing some oils downstairs. But I have oils too. I have everything. I have so much stuff. So
okay.
People in the industry send me stuff a lot. So I have, like, this hat was sent to me by an industry leader. I'm sent things, and all of a sudden I realize I have so much product and stuff. So I think an ebook or a video series telling the story and sharing. I like the three prongs. I like three in this particular case. But you could have 7 or whatever you want. And then you're inviting them. If you're somebody who needs support during this time, here's my Facebook group. If you're somebody who needs an alternative income option, set up an appointment with me here and I'll show you the business that I selected. If you're somebody who needs all natural ways to ease your stress and to help you get through, let me show you this. So now you're giving them 3 options. You need support. You just need to be around other women and have support. I got you. And that costs nothing, right? I got you. Do you need to make money? I got you. Let me show you this way. Do you need some all natural things that will help ease your stress as you're personally recovering? And then you can also give them some of your favorite scriptures, or you can things, Bible verses from Bible Gateway or something, or there's all different things that you can do. So that can be kind of cool. Now you got this thing, people are feeling you, they've heard your story. They're hearing about how your faith pulled you through, and using these oils that helped you manage yourself while you were recovering, and this day to keep yourself in an optimal state. Now you got to win. And here's how I do it. You got a little flow through where you're covering all the things, but you're not women that are.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. You know how my internet is. You ever see, like you said, we didn't fuss a lot. It just happened. We didn't fuss a lot. It was over. For a lot of other women, that's not the case. I mean, for some of them, maybe they run off, or somebody ran off and left them with kids, or left them with no money. But for other people, it was a period of fighting. And then, so what you don't want to do is mix your business in with a bunch of people that are still very, if you mix your business, somebody happens to overlap both. Can you hear me or no? Are you hearing me?
Every other word.
That's not good. It's showing that my internet's crummy. Oh, come on, internet. It's Kathleen. We're doing God's work. Open it up. Make it work.
The devil.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to, like, for example, there's a whole bunch of people that are MLM haters out there. There's a whole movement of them right now. They're all mad. A lot of, and it's interesting because some of them have good points, because there has been a lot of manipulation over the years, but a lot of them are just mad because it didn't work out for them or whatever. But you don't want to take that group and mix them in with your business builder because they're going to infect one another, right? Now, if somebody's in the middle or somebody's straddling both groups, you're good. But if you have a woman that needs to talk and needs some, passages and some help with that in that group amongst other women, that's cool. You don't want to flop her or try to convince her to go into the business environment because she could bring that energy in. On the flip side, you don't want to take the people that are in the business environment, and even if they've gone through something, try to convince them that they need to be over there. You also might recruit someone that is a different religion or a different, they're related to the divorce or abandonment, but they don't relate to your faith. Are you going to turn them away if they're a builder? No. So we're not going to force them into that. We want to create a couple of environments so that everybody gets what they need, and now you're scooping from a much bigger pool. But the message doesn't change. That's what's cool. The message doesn't change. It's just the pool that you can scoop from becomes.
So where is my market?
Your market is people who are attracted to the story about after 38 years of marriage, I got a call and found out it was over. I had to recover. I didn't know which way to turn. Download my free ebook on the road to recovery. We can come up with the names and the titles and all that type of stuff. But the market is anybody who's been through this or anybody that's attracted to the story, because a lot of times people want to read a story even though it hasn't happened to them because it interests them. But somebody that I really love on social media recently, like all of a sudden, woke up one morning and she couldn't see. And they thought it was something in her eyes, and it turned out that she has cancer, bad cancer. And she's been documenting her journey through the treatments. I can't help but look away, one, because I'm rooting for her, and she's just very cool. I don't know her. She's just a social media person. I don't have cancer, but I'm interested, thank God, and knock on something and all that other stuff. But tomorrow I could, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So I'm interested in watching and chronicling what's happened. So even though, like, I may not have been abandoned, but I know somebody who was, and I'm interested in how he's going to manage himself. Because that's what interests me about her. It's how she keeps a great attitude during something that's terrible. She showed us shaving her head. She showed us picking out wigs. So she's handling something devastating with a great attitude. It's very attractive. So anybody who's attracted to that story, the story of triumph, the story of overcoming, wanting to know how did you do it. I'll give you another example. I have a friend who was a very, very heavy drinker. And I don't like to label anybody, but if he wasn't an alcoholic, he was on the line. Okay? Very, very heavy drinker, told me stories like blackout drinker. And then he stopped. And he didn't go to AA, and he doesn't introduce himself. A lot of folks introduce themselves, I'm an alcoholic, or they tell you I'm recovering, or they identify themselves that way. He never did. So I became very interested when he told me. I wanted to know, well, how did you make that transition? For most people, that's incredibly hard. How did you make that transition? Of course, it was a spiritual transition. But I was interested in his story, even though I never had that problem, because I have other things that I've tried to let go of. My weight, how do you diet, this, that, but there's still weight. What happened that made you let go of it? So you can absolutely attract people through your content when you're talking about, I remember the day I realized I was homeless and penniless. See, somebody might become homeless and penniless for a different reason, but they relate and connect to that experience, and it gives them to your I went from being a teacher for 30 years to being homeless and penniless in the blink of an eye. Wonderful. Naturally wonderful. So that's the audience. The audience is anybody that relates to abandonment. It doesn't necessarily have to be marital. It could be parental abandonment. It could be any kind of abandonment. It's the audience that relates to abandonment recovery. Does that resonate or no? Because
Oh, yeah.
I can't dictate it to you. It has to be something that you feel.
No, the words that you're using to describe it, I do understand that. I guess I'm wondering, other than being on my Facebook profile, where am I sharing that?
Everywhere. Everywhere. Sharing it in short form video. I don't know if you saw Mark's training recently, and if not, catch the recording. He did an incredible
Mm.
training video in short form and had to break it all up and so on. He went into detail on it and actually I think gave a cheat sheet on it. So you can be sharing you can be sharing it in short form on Instagram and TikTok. You could be sharing it in written pieces. There's tons of sites that you can publish written pieces, articles, stories. You could be sharing it in Facebook. You could be sharing it on LinkedIn. I mean, there's like a million places to share your stories and then invite people to download your free ebook or your free video series. We give me, but that's the key. And of course, run an ad. You can target people that we know are divorced. We're able to actually target ads to that. Women over age 40 that are divorced that will target people. So your people that you want to help are not necessarily your customers or builders, but through your story, you're getting to help everybody. Let me ask you a question. What attracted you to me? We're very different people.
Well, there are things about us, though, that are similar. And back last year, when I first saw you do a couple of things for MLSP and, hear you talking. And then that day in August, when I was walking in the cemetery and I watched you live for about an hour, and I could tell that there was a difference in you, that you had gone through something. And it was that change in you that attracted me to want to hear more. And then, of course, being with you since January, I love the way you teach, and I just want like hanging out with you.
Fun, right? You have fun with the gang. And any of you guys that watch this, it's all access pass is just a lot of fun. We have a good time when we're learning. So you actually were attracted to me, even though we're very different people. I mean, I come from New York City. We're very different people. You're kind of slower talking. I'm kind of faster talking. You're just, we're different people. But you felt a spiritual transition in me, and you had gone through a spiritual transition. That was the bridge. That was the bridge. So the bridge wasn't abandonment, or the bridge wasn't essential oils, or the bridge wasn't geographical, or the bridge wasn't about pets or this or that. There's always a bridge that somebody walks across when they become attracted to somebody else. And it was, you were walking and I was in the hospital, and you could feel that something had happened to me spiritually. That was the bridge. Then you hung around and you sniffed around a little bit and you went, this lady's fun. I think I could learn. And that's how you ended up hanging out with us. So that's what I'm trying to describe to you. It's through your stories that people become attracted. they don't have to have been abandoned to be attracted to a spiritual awakening or depending on faith to get through something. They don't have to be abandoned to understand the power of natural things. Like maybe somebody's been sick and on all kinds of drugs and they really want to get off of the stuff, right? They want to they want more natural things. They want natural things in their home. So that becomes the bridge. Or maybe there's a million bridges. The key is you have to lay them out. You gotta like all I ever do is run my mouth and run my fingers because I'm laying out bridges for people. Do you know that I've known you for how many months and I didn't know any of this about you? Because none of it's on your wall. None of it's anywhere. I've never heard you speak of any of it. I mean, I had to pull out that you were a teacher, that you know something. You know lots of things. They're private. I don't, nobody knows if I'm dating anyone or nobody knows, what my, not to be crude, but you know me, I'm always crazy. My poop schedule is, or nobody knows anything personal about me. They just know what I care to share. But every time I share something about me, it's like a dog whistle calling to the people that are resonating with that. So I like that you know who you want to talk to. But now the key is now you have to talk to them. And that even if you just use Facebook stories, Facebook posts, and either short video or live videos on Facebook, and you didn't use another platform, pick up. But it has to come down to I'm called to speak out. And you don't have to be extroverted to do that.
Well, I 3 days ago started doing a live video on Facebook at 6:30 in the morning, and it's called the Couch Cushion Chat. And that was going to be the way that I was going to start sort of talking about rejection or forgiveness and doing a Bible verse. I'm sort of easing into this. I do have my daughter that's on Facebook, and I don't know if I feel like I'm protecting her or what. I don't know. But another thing that I really loved about you that I wanted to mention was your style of business where you do everything through email. Now, eventually that's a down the road for me. I realize that, but I love that.
Why? Why is it down the road? Why isn't it next week? Why?
Oh, I guess because I think I don't have the audience. I mean, I know I don't have the audience yet. But
you're putting yourself in a box. Okay. If you do a live, and I want to change the name of your live, we'll talk about that in a second. If you do lives and you're going to do this every day or every other day or whatever your schedule is, you need to have somewhere that you're sending if they like you. Okay. If it's to your Facebook group, that's fine. The questions when they join your Facebook group, one of them has to be to ask for their email so you can naturally add them to your list. Okay. Or it can be to a capture page to download your free report or free, ebook or whatever you want to put together. Right. So that's fine either way. The easiest way is not to build any pages yet and just set up your Facebook group, and you're always inviting to the Facebook group. And when they go, one of the questions is, let me have your email so I can send you some faith-filled encouragement on a daily basis or something like that. However you want to word it. And again, if you want to, I'm not pitching you, but if you wanted to hire me to do some more writing, we're kind of working out the concept here. If you needed more sessions with me, or I know you have other people you work with, once you get a concept, working out the logistics isn't hard. It's just believing. Like if you were to get one lead today and you put them into an autoresponder. Let me ask you a question. If this is a person that really needs your encouragement, are you just going to not write to them because you think you don't have enough people on the list? Think about that. This
Um,
wasn't your encouragement. You have 1,000 people. I guess I'm all right. I'm going to leave you alone because I'm not worried about you. That's not who you are. So it all starts with one person. All the tech fancy stuff, that might be down the line. But having an AWeber autoresponder that you manually add people that join your group to, and you can say, even if it was a Bible scripture that came out every morning and you pre-scheduled it, and a few words from you about what that scripture means to you, what are you going to do? Say, oh, there's only 10 of you. You're not enough. You're not important enough. Right? Think about it.
yeah, well, what you just described is the way that I visualized posting on Facebook was to do the scripture and the application. Now, I'll tell you the group that I made. I guess we might want to change that, but it's specifically about spousal abandonment. So if that's not going to be my direct audience, I guess that would not be an appropriate group name.
Well, let me help you tweak this a little bit. Okay. So first, let's talk about the name of your live. Couch cushion, whatever you called it. What was it called?
Couch cushion chat. It's just very informal. It's not like what you would call a proper Facebook Live.
I like that. I like that. I like that better. But couch cushion chat doesn't mean anything. Who's it for? Couch cushions? And I'm teasing you because I want you to, right? I know you're sitting on the couch cushion. What if we called it something about who we're looking to call into our lives? Triumph over tragedy. And it's a little dark, but step into the light chat. You're never alone. I'm just whipping them off,
Yeah.
but have it mean something. Who do we want to call into? People that are looking for encouragement, people that are looking to overcome, people that are looking for, that spiritual help in the mornings, right? Or just to be with other people that want to hear that. So it could be even if it were spiritual chat, or I like a little bit of a catchier name. I'll run it around my head because I do have another appointment after this one. I'll run it around my head. I'm sure something will pop out of me because you know me. If something will go, oh, that's it. And you don't have to, again, like couch cushion chat is a good start, but it's not calling to someone. And if the group became more about overcoming or triumph or anything like that, but you still talked about this person was abandoned, this person was left without money, this person was this, it's okay. Or you can have another group that's just a little bit more broad. If you want to have you can have a more broad group that you invite people to from your broadcast. And then you say, if any of you were like me and abandoned by a spouse and you need support, and have another smaller private group where you can talk about those things. So from the podcast, I'm calling it a podcast, but from the live, I would invite them to something that's more uplifting, triumph based, that type of content. And then I would say, I also have something very private for those of you that have gone through this. I know it's two groups, but one group is really to nurture an audience and have a business, and one group is to just help these women. So when somebody joins your, so let's say you 6:30 in the morning, you give your talk, right? And then you say, go over to my group, and when you join it, I'll start sending you the scripture and the application so that you can have it throughout the day. And every day you'll get something, every day or every week or whatever you want. Every Monday you're going to get this. So now, instead of just posting, you certainly can post on Facebook, but now there's a reason for them to be on that list. And inside of the list, we're just very nicely telling stories, sharing uplifting things. And if you put together that little ebook about the three-pronged approach that you had to recovery, now you're able to say, if you've read my ebook, you know that essential oils become a really big part of my life. Tonight, we're going to be showing you oils that you can use this fall that'll help you healthy, or whatever it is. Tonight we're going to be talking about, or this video shows you oils you can use to invigorate yourself. If you've been down, sometimes it's hard to get going, but using these oils can help get your day started. Whatever it is, you can be presenting oils. You can be talking about business opportunity. If you've been financially hurt through whatever you're going through, I found another way to create income. So you're able to do that through that. And it doesn't feel offensive because you're not, if I'm the pastor and I ask people to put money in the basket and help communities, in need, are people offended? Are people offended? Nobody's like, that dang pastor, he's always trying to get money off of me. Nobody feels like that because it's the energy around the ask. So when you're saying, if you're financially, looking for alternative methods, I'd love to show you what I found. That's not easy. That's kind of beautiful. It's all in the way it's presented. Because I do have to run off. It's a 50-minute session. Now we've created a bigger umbrella. I'm about people that have triumphed over adversity. This was my adversity. I have a special place in my heart for women who have been abandoned, and I always do everything I can to help those women get back on their feet. But maybe that wasn't your tragedy. Maybe it was something else. I want to help you too. Every morning at 6:30 a.m., I'm going to be sharing the word, and I'm going to be giving you application and sharing some different ideas to help you transform your life. Or if you're transformed, perhaps you could be a guest one day to help share your story. See that? And I'd love for you to go over the group, because in the group you can share and give encouragement to others. And when they sign up, they end up. Maybe it's the encouragement corner. Maybe it's something about trying. Go look through think about words that will tell people without telling them. Like, I've used a lot of words here. Like, if I say fellowship, that's a church word. That's a church word. If I say fellowship to someone, they know what I'm talking about. I don't have to go, Jesus loves you. I don't have to do that. Okay? I don't have to go all in. Because if I say, there's other words, biblical words. They communicate to the person, this is what we are, this is what we do. So that way you're attracting the right crowd, so you don't get the idiot in here. Now you're bringing energy. The power of the words is everything. Right? So naming your show in the morning, naming your group, but the focus of the main group is help with your business and help nurture people, and then have a separate little envelope that have been through it. Let's not exclude other people that are uplifting in the morning. Let's not exclude other people that need that business. Let's not exclude other people that have been through something else that might be depressed or that help naturally help.
Yeah. That's
now
that's
we have
good.
a much bigger, more beautiful umbrella, right? Little arc of who we serve. And the arc also includes many people that can afford to buy oils, that are looking for a business, and many people that are looking to share how they maneuvered. Because instead of it all being about you, You'll notice when I do All Access, I'm always talking about Jenny does this and Alice can do this and so and so can do that. And I'm always talking about, Ray's are good at this. I'm always edifying and talking because I want it to be inclusive. It's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
So this video is in All Access. Go back and watch it again. Been in the middle of it emotionally. Go back and watch it again. Come up with a new name for your morning show. Right? That's expressive of what it is. Come up with either build a bigger new group or change up the group that was, whichever is better, and come up with a nice name for that group. And I'm sure things are going to pop up in my head. I'll message you. But come up with some nice names that convey what we have. And start talking.
Okay, I know you got to go, but on my intro that I had changed to about helping abandoned women, that needs to go
Well, we can
because
edit
I'm
it.
not just
Do
okay.
you have it? Where is that, on your Facebook or where is it?
It's on my Facebook profile. I had changed the banner picture and the intro.
Okay, give me 1 second. The good news is I took a meeting afterwards and I'd let them know when I was done with you because I always go over because that's what I do. So it's all good. We got a minute. So I don't want to finish without looking at this. Okay. Great. So we have a nice header. The flowers in your hair.
Well, I was going to change that. That's old.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just saying it's cute. It's fine. It's okay. So we might want to change helping those that have been abandoned to feel supported by God or to know they're supported by God. But this also, right, this doesn't express anything about your business. So we want to call out to people. So we might say something like, after 38 years, in one day, I realized I was being abandoned. Today, I help others that have been abandoned find their way through. I got to write it better, Kathleen, because I'm going so fast. But you see, I can somehow write it where it indicates I have a business, I have solutions, and I'm a woman of faith. Because your profile is about helping. I'm sorry?
All of that's fitting in the intro?
Yep, it'll fit. It'll fit.
Okay.
I mean, I can write it tight, but I'm pretty sure you have a good amount of room on Facebook. I mean, I haven't done it in a little while. Let me look at mine. Oh, okay, you may not have that much room. So then it might be,
well, if you click the banner, click the cover photo, I made a little description in that.
you know what I would do? Consider checking, use a Bible search and see if you can come up with a scripture that, and you might know one off the top of your head or a proverb or something, that is expressing that after turmoil comes triumph. Something to the effect of, we will go through something to have a new life revealed. Something like that, which expresses there's something more, there's something better, you can recover, or something about you are loved. I might do that. Maybe something about prosperity, or maybe something about, let me stop the share. See, well, we need more time. That's the problem. Because I could package all of this and write all of this, but we need more time. Start searching or go
Well,
through.
I say, how about I just contact you later
Mhm.
and we'll
But
continue.
just think about it though. There's got to be a proverb or something that's saying, you know, after you fall down. There's something in there that's expressive of it, because your solutions are about after you fall down. It's faith, it's financial, and it's fellowship or something like that, you know, or I'm thinking about something for the oils, but
Yeah.
those ideas. So we need something. It can be scripture, or it can be something that you come up with. Like my banner says I'm a home business communications expert, or whatever I call myself. I don't know. I always find all this stuff so funny, because that's not how I ever attract people. And everybody spends so much time teaching about all this stuff, and I don't think a lot of it matters that much. You know, everything's like a review of your profile. It's like, did you say anything this week? So mine says marketing communication specialist, and then I put how you communicate will determine how much money you make. So I'm talking about you need to learn to communicate and you want to make money. In one sentence, I've given them the thing that they think they want, right? I need to learn to communicate because otherwise I won't make money. So your person has experienced abandonment or some type of downturn in their life. They want to feel better, right? They want the rough times to end. So we need something that expresses that. So maybe there's something about you are never alone, and you know, all will be provided. I'm making these up. I probably sound like an idiot. I'm certainly not a biblical scholar. I like church. I
No,
like to church. And I like
I,
church.
I got you.
Proverbs, because they're easy. They're easy. Okay. The rest of the stuff is a lot. But go look, because I promise you, there's something that is the epitome of what we're talking about. There is something that is the epitome, and I'll poke around too, because there's something, and that'd be perfect, you know, because you're saying in your header, go back to it, God will not abandon those who search for him, right? That's what you're saying. You're not going to be abandoned. So in the end, as long as we seek God, we can't be abandoned, which is kind of crazy, because, you know, somebody earthly can abandon you, but you're never abandoned. So maybe there's something else like this. Or maybe we change your header and we use this in your description, in your intro. You know, it's a good passage. So maybe we use the passage in your intro, we change your header.
Okay.
So, but right now, what we have now is a fuller, more robust, I keep going like this because I'm thinking the umbrella of all the people that might be the people. Instead of going, this is my target market, women who are in turmoil and in a lot of pain, that it will never be profitable. They're your work. They're not your market. Okay? And there's a big differentiation. Because remember, I've taught you, everything has to do not with the demographics of the person or the description of the person. Are they 42 and live in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and have 3 kids? Or are they 67, recently retired, realizing they don't have enough money? That's demographics. Sales are made through the motivation of the person. And a person who's in turmoil is often not motivated. After I was abandoned in a way, I was laid on the couch and ate ice cream and drank some wine and watched the Gilmore Girls for about a year. I was not very motivated. Now, did I need what you offer? Yes. Did I need to be uplifted? Did I need to know I was not alone? I felt very alone. It's the darkest period of my life. Did I need all of this? Yes. Was I motivated? Might I have watched you every morning for a year before I was ready to do anything? Yeah. But that's what I mean. Those people have to be developed over time and loved on and nurtured. They're not going to be revenue now. But when I shout out to everybody who's ever been through a dark day, and I shout out to people about through faith and using other mechanisms to help you get through, it's possible, and that you can and you will. And I get people to gather around to share their stories of triumph. Now I got some people that are motivated, people that are uplifted, people that are ready to give hope to other people. Now I got a crowd, right? And so the people that are recently hurt, they're sitting and they're listening and they're getting hope. But the people, I think about it. I mean, I'll use Alcoholics Anonymous as an example again, because it's a faith group. And a lot of people come there because they're in so much pain that they haven't even occurred to them that anything spiritual. Most people are sitting in the audience and listening to the stories, but the people who have been good for a while are telling the stories. And those people are the ones that keep those folks coming back to the meetings until they're ready to share, until they're ready to step up. That's what you need. You can't just have, if Alcoholics Anonymous only had the people that passed out last night and finally decided to show up, it wouldn't be a successful organization. Or if the church only had people that just decided, I want to check this out, you have to have people that can tell a story. That's why you need the bigger umbrella. Look at you, you're smiling because you know that this is true.
Yes.
It's true.
I like stories.
Yeah. So the minor changes that you need to make aren't that big a deal. It's not like you're starting over. You're just recreating the Facebook group or making it a little bigger. You're changing the name of your broadcast. The point is you've stepped up and started talking, sharing. You're using that autoresponder and sending out, even if in the beginning it's only scriptures and nothing else, scripture application, and maybe an invitation at the bottom, as I've taught you guys. You can have signed, in faith, Kathleen. By the way, if you are somebody who's looking to change your finances, you don't even have to put a link in there. You can say, please hit respond. I'd like to invite you to something that's going on tonight that might help. Something that simple, but the one who's ready will hit reply and ask you about it. Now you have people asking you, but you're uplifting people and you're serving them. That's the key. That's the key. I gotta go. I hope you had a good session. I hope it was a little mind opening. And I hope in the beginning you did not feel I was in any way disrespectful of the market that you wanted. Okay.
No.
Sure, I want you to set up a year from now going, how come it didn't work? Because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't.
Right. I like how you take my blinders and turn them that way. So I can see
more vision, more sight, right?
Yeah.
More vision and sight. But you are in the right place, Kathleen. I want you to know that because you're finally beginning to talk and you're finally realizing and hearing messages. I have a funny feeling, Matt, like you said, Brian's Labor Day call. And I think you're starting to hear messages and you're feeling more compelled. So perhaps this was great timing today to talk about you're meant to serve a larger group so that this group, maybe the women people who weren't recently abandoned, etc., this group will help you support this group. And then over time, this group, the people who are recently hurt or really still in pain, they're going to develop and be nurtured. And some of them will move over into this group. And then there's going to be new people that come into that group, and it becomes this beautiful circle. And some people over here are just going to be nurtured, and then they're going to go on their way. And they're not going to join the business, and they're not going to buy oils, and they're not going to join MLSP, because they just needed an environment where they could feel loved and supported during that time period. And isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
A million people classes for free that I've never made a dime from, and I get letters from them. Years later, I get letters from them. You changed my life. You helped me. You taught me this, and I used it to do this. I mean, I had one guy that came to visit me. I was in Dallas, he called me up, and he goes, "Can I come see you?" I hadn't seen him in years. I go, "Yeah, of course." He and his wife and his 2 kids, they came over because he knew I wanted to see the kids. I'm holding the baby, and he tells me that because he was in network marketing and he wasn't natural at it, and I taught him about funnels and copywriting. He's gone on to be a 6-figure copywriter around his job, and that money that he was earning allowed them to buy houses and everything else. house. And he came, I didn't even know where he was. I didn't know any of this happened. He came to tell me that happened. So you're going to touch people in ways, some of them you'll know, some of them you'll never know. But trust me, it's beautiful work. It's beautiful work. Okay?
Well, I'm glad I know you, and thank you for your work.
My pleasure. What an honor today to have this discussion with you. Now I have to run because 1, I have to go to the bathroom, and 2, I have another appointment. All right?
Thank you, Diane.
See you in a little bit. Bye.
Bye.